Namaste, namaste, welcome to class. This is 3 sections of restorative. This first restorative is deeply nourishing for the spinal column. So if you feel slightly lost emotionally, you're a little bit low, a little bit lost, let's put some energy through the spine. When the spine is flexible, you feel much happier. I know it sounds completely bizarre, but that's the way it works. So I hope you're in your Snuggly restorative jumpers and you have either a couple of pillows, possibly a blanket, some cushions, and if you're fortunate enough to have a bolster, here is a bolster. If you don't have a bolster, then hopefully you have got a pillow already made up that's wrapped around in a couple of blankets. So you need something that's got a little bit of body to it where it's not going to collapse when you put your body weight on there and relax. So this restorative is about movement followed by deeply relaxing. So first of all, close the eyes. Find a place for you to settle within you. Close the eyes. Find a really soft, nurturing breath that doesn't take up too much thought, too much energy. Relaxing all the function of your organs, the fast-paced whirl of life of your mind. And take your time just to gently release the eyelids. Most of your practice today is going to be in a very deeply relaxing asana with your eyes closed. So first of all, we're going into cat-cow, put some energy through the spine. So just allowing your paws, that's your hands and your pads, to press into the ground. And just find a little bit of movement in the base of the spine and the sacrum first. Whether that's cat-cow, whether it's hip hitching, whether it's a snake move. Just feel your whole sacrum and lower back moving. And then start to generate a little bit of height in thoracic, that's your middle spine. Constantly working around upper, lower. So I myself are going to try not to chat to you too much throughout restorative. I will do my best. When you're about to go into cat-cow, let's attach a little bit of a breath. Inhaling to lift your chin, tailbone, exhaling to lift the spine. Dropping the chin, dropping the tailbone. Staying here for about another 30 seconds. I really would like to get all the spinal discs beautifully and warm and in that place where they don't mind being held for 2 to 5 minutes. When you're ready, try and find a lovely neutral place for your spine. So our first asana is our assisted bhujangasana. So if you do have something that resembles a bolster, the bolster will go underneath your armpits. If you don't have a bolster, roll the cushion up, wrap it in a few blankets. It needs to be at a considerable height where your hips are grounded, but your stomach and your upper chest is off the ground in a cobra. So I will show you what I'm doing. I'm pressing my hips into the ground. Beautiful. It's just moving a few of my items out of the way. And then I'm going to hook my armpits over the top of the bolster. And you can see how I've still got that lovely back bend, that I'm not dropped. We need to have a little bit of an arch in the back. The head is supported, so we're not going to hang the head down and do absolutely nothing. We do need to press the hips in, lift up through the breastbone, the chest. The shoulders and the neck are very, very strong, but at the same time they are relaxed. Having a big baggy jumper on doesn't help, I know. You can't see all of the asanas. Close the eyes. And if your body's feeling slightly uncomfortable, because even in this low Bhujangasana, the back might be in a little bit of a deep back bend, then of course come down to something a little bit less invasive on the spine. This is a beautiful height for restorative cobra. So we're not pressing the arms in or the hands. There's no shoulder tension. Closing the eyes. Enjoying all the benefits that a back bend has to offer you. Spinal flexion, spine and energy, reduce fatigue. Amazing little massage on the kidneys. And just working a little bit of compression onto that fabulous overworked liver. Your restorative is where you're using your props to support you. So if you feel that you're working too hard by lengthening or pressing the muscles in to hold an asana, then please rely on your props a little bit more. Belly button is grounded. Make peace with your body. Relax and ask your mind to settle. Enjoy this space that you've allowed yourself to do nothing apart from heal the body and work into those areas, muscles or ligaments and tendons that need your attention. Feel that distance that your breath has to take to travel up to your lungs. Breathing out into the area of the spine and just allowing the spine to let go. Let the body escape that tension, the pain, the fatigue. Ready to come out of this, I come out really gradually, and what we're looking at doing is flattening the spine, so trying not to go into a deep cobra to come out of this. So I'm just allowing my shoulders to come away. I'm slipping away my bolster and allowing my spine to be flat just for a moment. And then from here I come up onto all fours. I'm going into a deep crouch that's just a little bit assisted with the spinal lateral movement. So as I extend the arms forward, it's just quite an easy extension, but just relax the arms to one side for a moment. This is really getting quite deep under the muscle of the lumbar that you may not have slightly stretched out going into Cobra. So center when you're ready, and then that little movement onto the other side. It's releasing that valve of pressure around the band of the lumbar and into the top half of your sacrum. So when you're ready to come back into the center, the next one is absolutely beautiful. It's an assisted child's pose, Balasana. So again, we're looking at something that resembles our bolster. So something with a little bit of height, and then a cushion or a pillow to go on the end. So what I'm going to do is taking the knees slightly wide so my bolster can rest by my navel point. I'm rolling the chest down, hugging the bolster in. If you can lift the bolster up a little bit and rest the side of the cheek down on top of your cushion or pillow. When you're breathing, it's the lower back, it's the tailbone that we're just looking at surrendering towards the floor. Breathe into the width of your spine and relax. Deeply nourishing for the organs. A little bit of yoga magic for your digestion organs. Breathe and expand the chest, expand the back. This is such a lovely asana to just be. Can you feel how your body is just slipping into really deep relaxation? Hopefully nothing around your home is affecting your time and disturbing your peace. Staying in this position, but just gently lifting the head and placing the other side of the cheek and relaxing into the neck. So staying with that side of the cheek, closing the eyes and hopefully not having too much to think about. How delicious does your body feel right now? Hopefully you've got a cup of herbal tea next to you. Mine's lemon, ginger and honey. Restorative is about nurturing the inside and the outside of your body. Cleansing the space around me. It'd be lovely if you could smell this as well. So not taking too much thought into coming away from this asana because it's lovely, but you do have many, many others. Oh, I'm just looking outside and it's big, big, big clumps of snow. So when you turn the side of the cheek and the head, just press the hands into the ground and massage into the neck. enjoying that lovely opening in the crook of the neck. And then from here, just for a moment, I'm going to come up into a down dog and move into the feet. So hands either side of your bolster or cushion, unless you want to place it away from you. And just allowing each heel to roll into the floor gradually. Loosening up through the legs. And only when you feel ready, I'm going to come back on down. So I'm going into a lovely split dragon pose. Please, this is not to be too hard. So I've got my bolster and I've got my extension of a cushion. So my back knee is supported while I actually step forward into my dragon pose. My bolster is only here for my support. You see how I've lunged forward? Goodness me, if only you could see the big clumps of snow that are coming down. They're about the size of golf balls. So I'm going into a lovely dragon lunge, and this bolster, cushion, pillow, blanket needs to be a height where you are not straining the body. Remember, restorative is about relying on your props. Closing the eyes. The hip flexor is the front of the thigh on the back. The hamstring is the back of the thigh on the front leg. You're looking at equally stretching both of these sides. And if your body is struggling already, please come away from this. Gently, gently ease into the body. So when our body moves, it requires energy and it affects our breath. So ideally in restorative, we spend a couple of moments trying to find a very, very deep, relaxing place to be, and then we need to home into stillness, settle into patience, and surrender. If any part of the body is not comfortable, make it your mission to change as soon as possible. Breathe and relax. Are you starting to feel that the tailbone and the glutes are being drawn to the floor a little bit deeper? That means that your bowl of your pelvis is loosening and everything around the supporting joints are allowing yourself to relax. The hips, the hamstrings, the quads, hip flexors. Just a moment or two in this pose. In these beautiful short sections of 25 minutes, you really can just do 4 poses and really get deep into them. You don't need to try and fit 30 asanas. When I come out of this, I'd like to take my time to come out of this, because remember, you've gone quite deep. And always feel free that if you want to, then you can stay here. So what I've done to come out of this is I'm now straightening that front leg and just allowing the hamstrings to settle a bit. Then I'm going to draw the heel in, bend back into the knee, straighten the front leg, toe up so it involves the calf, and then come back into that bent knee. And this very, very gently allows the ligaments and the tendons that are attached bone to bone and muscle to loosen up and not be so severed. If I stand and look out the window, I bet we've got a lovely blanket of snow. If I do, I'll bring a snowball in and I'll throw it at you. So when you're ready to replace the hips together, replace the hips and step forward with your other leg. Now this hip may give you a little bit more room to play around with, so you may not need so much height. Test the water, go for your depth. And if you need to have both arms and relax the head, then please do. Remember, this is your asana. You need to adjust accordingly. So first of all, you can feel the tightness around the hip, maybe around the glute, which is the buttocks. Some of you might experience some hamstring tension. If there is any tension that you're feeling, come away from this for a moment until all of the muscles work together. Relaxing and easing into this. Now can you feel how you can go just a little bit deeper now? What makes this really snuggly today is that lovely cashmere jumper that just keeps you so warm that your body has something less to think of. It's not thinking of how chilly you are. It's actually really homing into the fact that your body's super warm. You feel really, really comfortable in a lovely baggy jumper or even socks. Socks are fantastic in restorative. Just another moment or two. I'm hoping you've allowed yourself some beautiful time where the candles are lit, joss sticks are on, and you're not racing your mind about what you have to do. So I'm coming away from this really, really gradually. So first of all, I'm going to start to straighten the leg. And if it's not ready to be straight, I just relax and ease. I'm going to take off my top layer and give myself a little bit more room to play with. And bend the knee. And yes, this is helping muscles, but it's also giving that tender, loving touch to ligaments and tendons. And then when I'm ready to deliver my hip sockets together, I draw the knees together. So before we go, I want to go into a single deer pose leg extension. So what I'm going to do is one leg comes out to the side and one leg is straight. So you can see how I'm in one deer pose and one straight leg. And instead of allowing the body to sit at a little bit of a slant, you might want to use your bolster on the straight leg and use this to prop. And depending on how tight you are on the medial and lateral part of your thigh, depends on how much your heel comes away from you. But remember, the further the heel is away from you, the more the twist the pelvis is. So sometimes by drawing the heel in, you can actually open up the hip. And this is a lovely prop to flatten the quad, press the hamstring into the ground, but also to give you some spinal height. Breathe and relax. Please work into the attachments at the front of the hip that you can probably feel they're on a little bit of a twisty rotation movement. So it's your job to try and lift yourself out of your legs. All the asanas that I've put you in today, use that as a deep shavasana. Just because your muscles are not just lying down in corpse pose or shavasana, you can still close the eyes and meditate. Listen to the music. You can hum. Such precious times that we allow to stretch our body for more than 30 seconds. So when I'm ready to come away from this one, it needs to be done so quite carefully. So I'm going to take the bolster away. I'm going to draw the knee that's behind me towards the front leg. And just draw the knee into the chest and lift up through the abdomen. And then this leg that we had that lovely twist rotation now comes out into a V. I'm changing my bolster, I draw the knee, and then very gently draw the inside of the knee to the floor and then twist into the leg. So there are always good ways and not so good ways to come out of asanas. Listen to the knee joint, because this is quite fragile on the knee joint as well. So sometimes it's quite nice to place the knee joint on top of a cushion. It's not so deep in that, I would say, pressure on the top of the patella. And if it's working not very good, draw the heel in a little bit. Sometimes by taking the foot out, sends a little bit of pain from hip to knee. So your body, your movement are just as necessary. Heighten the spine. Use this last side of the asana as a seated upward meditation. We have 2 more wonderful parts of restorative to come. You can play all of them, so that's about an hour and a half of your time. Or you may choose that 25 minutes is enough. Beautiful. So I'm lifting the bolster from my extended front leg. I'm drawing the knee up towards my chest, hugging the knee in as I breathe, and then slide both of the legs together. So this is Tadasana, Dandasana. So you're in a lovely straight-legged, open up through the hips, spine and chest, shoulders, all have their places, and just breathe. If part 1 is enough for you today, that releases a layer of non-energetic energy, so the big umbrella of fatigue and stress that sits in hip sockets all up and down through the spinal discs. So although it was moving around, it was also quite relaxing, quite lovely. Part 2 is on the floor, so again, pillows, cushions, blankets, warm socks, and that place where we're going to open up the abdomen, so digestive organs, the lungs we're going to work on quite heavily as well, and going a little bit deeper into our hips. So if this is for you for today, have a really good day, and thank you for joining me for half an hour. We've got another half an hour to go, and then another half an hour. Namaste, and I'll speak to you soon, but I'll see you in the next few moments.